Hello everyone, this is Team Encounter, here to show you our capstone project. My name is Ivan, and I am joined by my teammates Griffin, DJ, and Jacob. The problem we were trying to solve with our capstone project these past 2 semesters is shown in this comic to the right. Have you ever been out with your friends or family and suggested something to eat or something to do, and they're like, oh no, I don't want to go there, I don't want to eat there, we already ate there, whatnot. And you kind of get stuck in this cycle that we call the suggestion to rejection cycle, where you suggest something that gets rejected, and you end up wasting a lot of time trying to figure out where to eat or what to do. Another problem that arises that we found is that if you want to find new places to eat, it can be hard with the existing technologies such as Google Maps or Yelp. You kind of have to know what you're looking for in advance, type in, oh, I'm looking for Chinese or Mexican. So we wanted to create an app that would solve this problem. So Encounter is an iOS and Android app that we are dubbing Tinder for Dinner. This will allow your friends and family to enter some preset filters about what kind of businesses or activities or restaurants that you like beforehand, and then play a fun swiping game to decide on which activity or restaurant you'd like to do. This is done through the tried and true Tinder swiping mechanism with an intuitive and sleek UI. Next, Griffin will go over a demo of our app.
Alright, so moving on to the demo, we'll quickly walk you through what a normal game or swiping session looks like using the Encounter app. And we're going to be doing it using these two Android emulators so that we can show the two phones side by side easily. But it is fully functional on both iOS and Android phones. So the first thing to understand about our app is that we have a user flow for both accountless users and users with accounts. When you first load up the app, it'll ask you if you want to make an account or whether you want to proceed without one. If you proceed without one, you can create and join encounters, but you can't access any of the other social features such as the groups, the preset filters, and the account page. Those are only available to account users. But let's go ahead and get into a normal encounter here. So I'll go ahead and click Start Encounter on the left phone. And it's going to ask us a few questions about how we want to set up our encounter. So I'm going to say I want to do it with a friend, and we're looking for a restaurant to eat dinner at, so I'll click Food. And the number of options I'd like to swipe on and figure out where we want to go to is maybe 10. And we want to go right now, so I only want to see open businesses. And we can either choose a pre-existing friends group, or we can just enter the group encounter normally. We're going to go ahead and enter the group encounter normally here. This will take us to a lobby page, which shows the players in the current game, as well as showing the ID that other players can use to join this game. So you can copy and paste this ID and throw it in a group chat by clicking this button here, but because the emulators specifically have some problems with copy and pasting, I'll go ahead and just type it in on this phone over here. So now that we've joined the game, it'll either refresh automatically over here with notifications enabled or with notifications disabled, as it is on this phone. You can go ahead and click the refresh button to see that update. And next thing we can do is we can set our filters to see what types of businesses that we're going to be looking for. So I'll go ahead and enable my location on this phone. I'll say I'm looking for something, it's okay if it's a little bit more expensive. I want it to be like, say, a medium drive away. And we're looking for, say, Chinese food for dinner, or also sushi. And I can go ahead and throw that in there. And then this person will go ahead and put in some similar filters, but is only looking for Chinese. Now that everybody has went ahead and set up their filters, it'll let us know, and we can click Start Swiping to start the game for everyone, and it'll start showing us options that fit the filters of everybody in the game. So now it'll move both of us on to the same set of businesses, in this case restaurants, to go ahead and swipe left and right on. So if we swipe right, that accepts it, and it says yes, that's 1 vote for. If we swipe left, that's 1 vote no. And we can also go back to redo our swipes if we made a mistake or want to look at it again. So on this left one, I'll go ahead and say yes. On Han Sushi, no. On Hanabi, Yes on Green Elephant, yes on Momoya, yes on Dumpling Garden, Sunshine Walk, and then maybe left, right. Go ahead and swipe through those. And then it's waiting for everybody else in the lobby to finish swiping. And then we can go ahead and click Get the Winner over here. If our notifications are enabled, that would move us on automatically. And then it shows us our chosen option, the one that was voted for by the most people in the lobby. So in this case, it is the green elephant. And we can click Open in Maps to open it right away so we can know exactly where we're going. If we're not super happy with our option or we're curious about how the voting went down, we can go to the stats page. The stats page will show us the first most voted, the second most voted, the third most voted, and the fourth most voted. And it will show us some other stats about other people in the game, the eager Ed, the person who swiped positively the most, the person who voted the slowest, the person who voted disliked the most, etc., etc. So now returning to the home, I'll show you some of the social features. So if we go to the groups page, we can go ahead and see all the groups that a user has. We can go ahead and actually make a group. We'll call it the Salt Lake City Friends, and then we can go find it. And within here, we can add more group members by giving them this ID, and they can join from this page as well. And we can set up preset filters so that when we use this group, when we select this group to use it for an encounter, if we have these preset filters set up, it'll ask us if we'd like to use them, and then we can set up the filters automatically and skip the whole lobby and setting filter steps and go right into the game. To make everything as convenient and as quick as possible. The last thing I'd like to show you is that in the account page, we can see some information about our account and we can edit it, and we can see our game history. So we can see all the past games, we can see the result, and if we click on them, we could even see the stats page for that game. We can also search for the games by date. And that's pretty much everything that we'd like to demonstrate for the basics of our app. Now I'll go ahead and pass it on to DJ to talk about the technologies that we utilize as well as our development style.
Thanks, Griffin, for the awesome demo. So we decided to split our app into two major components. We had a front end and a back end. On the front end, we chose to use Flutter since it allows for cross-platform development to both Android and iOS. It also allows for rapid deployment and it's highly performant. On the back end, we decided to go with a AWS backend, but specifically a serverless backend. The reason being is it's very cheap and quite scalable. Within the backend, we are also able to create a deployment pipeline, which will push our code automatically for us. And it also has many tools available to us. Some of the technologies that we were able to utilize is first API Gateway. API Gateway allows our front-end Flutter app to talk with our backend. API Gateway routes requests from the front end to many lambdas that we have deployed to perform business logic, such as our game logic and creating users and whatnot, as well as to retrieve data from our databases. The database we chose to go with was DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL database, which happens to work well with a serverless backend. Some other services we were able to utilize were Yelp's API, which fetches business information for the game. And then we also used Cognito to store our user information so our users can log in. And now we'll move on to Griffin for a conclusion.
Thank you, DJ. So in conclusion, we have a fully functional application that has been tested by, at this point, about 20 users. And we have deployed the app on both iOS Test Flight and the Google Play Store. And in the process of building the app, we had a great experience working with other University of Utah students, and we learned a lot of new technologies, both from the general industry and from each other. And we're really proud of our final product. We think it is a great product with a lot of potential in various markets. Finally, we have some credits here. Thank you to the professor, the TAs, the person who produced the music, and of course my fellow team members.